Welcome back to the Chill Zone podcast. I'm your host Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin', and I'm here with my co-host Roger.
Hey guys.
And this week we're finally able to introduce our new co-host, Miko Jenkins. Might be familiar with him.
What's going on, everybody?
Miko, man, how you been?
I've been good, man. Just trying to play catch up, after fucking being faced with natural disaster over in Houston and whatnot. But yeah, I've been good, just chilling, getting back on the game and whatnot. It's been good.
No, yeah, that's what's up, man. What you been playing?
I've been playing Warzone constantly. I have nothing else to play really. I want to play 2K, but nobody wants to play that fucking game anymore. But
which one you said, 2K?
Yeah, 2K, NBA 2K. Yeah, it's just it's so spammy and cheesy. Everybody can just do
whatever they want.
Whatever, yeah, it's insane. But Warzone. Warzone hardcore, and preparing for a little tourney this weekend. A cash prize tourney that me and you are in. But
right. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I'm looking forward to that. But you working on yourself at all? Anyways?
Yeah, for sure. Trying to get these finances back right. Absolutely. I've been just looking up on things that I'm thinking about investing in, whether it's real estate, where we're going to live here soon. I've been getting real into cars, like JDM Motors and whatnot. Thinking about doing a project with that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff, man. Just life, just trying to, entrepreneurship at its finest.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's awesome, man.
Live the American dream.
Yeah, that sure is right there.
Right.
But what about you, Roger? How you been, man?
Pretty good. I've been raiding on WoW.
Tubi?
Yeah, shout out to Tubi. But yeah, I've been doing pretty good lately. Working on minis. Weather's been finally nice enough that I can take out my minis from tabletop gaming, spray paint them outside because you can't really do it when it's super cold, and you don't want to be spray painting in the house. So that shit's terrible on your throat and lungs. So I got some minis spray painted, built some more minis. Been reading, got through a book. I'm partway through Obama's new book that he put out a month ago. So that's pretty good. I've enjoyed that so far. But other than that, just been watching anime and relaxing.
Oh yeah, that's dope. I have not been reading, but what have you been playing? I know you've been playing a lot.
Well, I dumped so many hours in the past 2 weeks into Stellaris, one of Paradox's games. They're about to release their new DLC called Nemesis, and I'm really excited about that because the game itself has been kind of formulaic recently, but now they're adding a new DLC that the end game itself, you can become the end game disaster everyone else has to deal with, or you can just win.
That's interesting. Actually, I think I stumbled upon that game on Xbox. I don't know if it's in Game Pass or if it's just on the store. I was like, this is the game that Roger was playing and talking about.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was on console because I wasn't aware that it was on console. That's pretty cool.
Right.
But yeah,
I'm going to look in and see if it's crossplay. Shit.
Yeah, I really like Stellaris, and honestly, once you get your computer up and running, with a graphics card, I'm totally down to play. But it's a strategy game, so it's going to be quite different from probably what you're used to, and it's like a multi-hour commitment. It seemed
interesting because I was watching you stream it that one time, and it looked pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I just was looking for the action and stuff, but then I had to hop off the chat when you were about to show me and stuff.
Like, there's not much action other than the ships fighting and stuff, but it's a big diplomatic, resource management game.
No, yeah, it's pretty cool. But you've been working on yourself at all?
Just working out every so often, just home workout really, but I'm about to start going for walks now that it's a lot nicer outside.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's so nice.
God, I love it.
Hot as fuck down here.
50 degrees for me feels like freaking sauna. It's so nice.
Put the shorts
on. It's been like 80, 85 down here.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
You
can keep that. You can keep that.
All right. But myself, I'm good. Just living the dream, man. Just been playing games, working, getting through these podcasts and the talk show. Talk show's been doing really well. Game wise, been just I beat Watch Dogs. I'm got to get that review up. I was going to do it yesterday, but just didn't have the motivation. Honestly, just lacked it. But right now I'm playing Immortals: Phoenix Rising, like I talked about last week, and that game is a lot of fun. Huh?
You still ain't done with it?
No,
Playing
it
too
actually
much
pissed me
Warzone?
off, right? Yeah, I actually been playing Warzone too, but I'm thinking about 10 or 11 hours into Immortals, and it would probably be more, right? So the one day I was playing it for like 3 hours, and I went to I went to quit, but I was in this like dungeon raid thing, so I hopped out of it, and my game froze. So I
Oh!
killed the app, loaded back in, and nothing saved for 3 hours.
Jeez. Oh my
So
god.
But
I
you
was
were
just
you
so
were
pissed off.
literally just talking about before we started the podcast how much you love autosaves.
Yeah, it's crazy, and the feature just did not work. And when I tried to play it again and got through a certain point again, I beat like this crazy part and went to save it. My save file was corrupt. I was like, what the fuck? So
Yeah.
then like I had to delete my save file off my console and retrieve it from the cloud, thankfully.
Hmm.
And then now everything's good, so I've been back to playing that again. But
There you go.
if it was going to happen again, best believe that game was never going to be played again.
I,
And the thing
I,
is, the only reason why I gave this game a third chance is because it's really good. I've been really enjoying the game.
no, I
But
completely understand. You know, I've been there. You lose a save file, or your cousin deletes your save file, and you just say, fuck this
yeah,
game, and I'm done playing it forever.
yeah,
Horrid.
and, but another game started to get into was the Medium. That game I would love to talk about on a different episode because that game has a lot to talk about. It's very interesting.
Hmm.
But other than that, man, haven't really been working on myself, honestly. Cannot lie.
Makes sense.
Have not.
Yeah, same. No, I should probably get in the gym.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I won't go to the gym until this shit clears up, man.
Yeah, nah, I feel that.
People are too disgusting at the gym to begin with.
They need to clean the machines before
People
so
don't
they
even
can
yeah,
go
people
clean
don't
it up.
even fucking touch the machines when they're done. They're like wiping sweat all over the machine. They're like, "Okay, done." And then they just leave. And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Her shit.
Yeah. So I mean, I need to start working out.
Yeah.
Juice is just flowing everywhere. You know,
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I would love to
cesspool
start
for
playing
disease.
basketball again. I know that. I haven't played in like a year.
oh yeah, nah, I definitely need to hoop. I haven't hooped since this quarantine started. Like around like
Yeah.
May. That's like
Yeah,
2
I think
months
the last
after.
time I played was probably last March.
Hmm.
Well, at least in like pickup. Like I went to the court and shot around myself like in June or something like that. But even then,
Before they ripped the courts down.
right before they took all the fucking rims and stuff, I was like, what the hell?
Insane. Texas dropping the mask. That wasn't in the itinerary, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh no, yeah, it's definitely crazy. A lot of states are gonna start removing that rule and mandate. So
Well, no, they already did.
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
know Texas did. I
yeah.
think Mississippi's about to
But
do
there's
it.
No,
also-
they both did. Texas and Mississippi already put in the no mask. Like, there's no more mask mandate. There's no more.
No, but Texas went into effect immediately. April or
I thought they
Mississippi's
said
is in April,
okay.
like
Well,
April 4th or 5th or something like that. It's like in about a month it'll lift.
because I thought they said theirs was also immediate. But yeah, they're just 100% capacity allowed. They're no mask
Back to
mandate.
normal.
Fuck,
So
dude. These and the people making these decisions, they're ones hiding behind their desk where there's only 4 people around them, not the servers or waiters or cooks who are dealing with all these people. Just
Can you
disgusting
imagine
people.
if you were a doctor that just worked his largest feat probably ever in his career, probably like over 200 days straight?
Yeah.
And you watch your country go to release these mask mandates and shit like that to open the floodgates back up to potentially go through
Yeah.
some shit like that again. It's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Watching frontline workers is just it's sad. It really is, and it's like these people just they don't care because it hurts their constituents' bottom line, and really they're only talking about the party of the rich here. Ugh,
Right.
shit sucks.
Right.
But now we got back on track with that.
No,
It's all good.
it's cool.
But that was a good intro topic before we get into topic one. But let's get into our review of the month here. We're going to talk about Cuphead. Very interesting game. We're going to start off with the story. Roger, what do you think the thoughts are of the
Okay,
story?
so Cuphead has a very, in my opinion, Cuphead doesn't need that big of a story because of what it's trying to do.
Yeah, the
So
gameplay. Yeah.
for those of you who don't know about Cuphead, Cuphead is a Dark Souls like game. Is a Souls like game is what people call it.
More or
Um,
less, yeah.
it's the idea is you're supposed to die and die and die until you figure out how the game works or how a boss mechanic works, and then when you finally master the mechanics, they switch it up until you finally finish the fight. So, like, my big thing about Cuphead being
A
the thing
princess.
about Cup, yeah, that's my that's Jordan.
I figured.
But um, with Cuphead, the biggest thing about it is it's just supposed to be a very basic game built around the premise of like it's early sort of film styled. So I
Hmm.
think the story
It has like
itself
a
lends its
classic cartoon feel too.
huh.
It has like a classic
That's
cartoon.
that's the idea. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
your 1950s cartoon feel, cartoonesque thing. That's the art style. That's the way they phrased it in the beginning. I really thought it worked well, and the story is just very simple and quick and easy. It's like a devil went down to Georgia kind of feel. He's the best damn fiddler. Well, he's the best damn gambler, and these guys gambled their soul to the devil. So I
Right.
really like the idea that you're trying to buy back your soul from the devil by getting the
By
dues that the
retrieving
devil.
other people's
Yeah,
souls
yeah,
for the devil. Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
exactly. You have to sell other people's soul to get yours back. I think
Right.
it lends itself really well, and there's very little story to it, but it doesn't need a
Right.
very
I
deep,
think it
in-depth
has just
story.
the right amount of story to it to
Hmm.
keep you going and like keep you wanting to
Yeah,
play it too.
it,
Like
it
it's
it gives that classic cartoon kind of story.
Yeah,
There's
right.
yeah. I was watching that
yeah,
montage and all the different scenes and what you had to do. It seemed pretty
hmm
elaborate, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to watch.
yeah, and it's such an interesting game, and it's just so basic. It's supposed to be like a 1950s cartoon. There's not much story though. You got Steamboat Willie. Something happens, transition. Something happens, transition. We're done.
Yeah,
And that's what the game
Yeah.
is. It's something happens, you have a boss fight, you transition to the next boss fight, something happens, and you just go like that.
Right. No, yeah,
I
I definitely agree. The story I think has been really good. Like it's not overwhelming. It's not like underwhelming either. It's
hmm
just like I think it hit a great spot for the game it is because like it's a small game.
Yeah,
It's made by like what a handful of people. Like I think it's like two people made it or something like that, two or three people.
yeah. It's
Um,
it's a small indie studio.
mhm. And the game came out of nowhere and it was a Xbox exclusive until they brought it to the Switch.
hmm Well,
No.
wasn't Cuphead on PC though right away as well, or no?
Uh-uh.
Because I thought it was. I thought it came out on PC
Oh,
and Xbox.
I guess if you had the Xbox app.
Yeah, because it was out early. And then it came to other consoles later.
Yeah.
But
So console exclusive if anything.
hmm
That doesn't include PC anymore.
so, but no, I honestly, if I were to rate the story, I would just give it a 10. I honestly think the way it approached itself to the idea, and for those of you saw us playing it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was each boss we fought so far to this point has been unique and interesting in their own right. It gives you that sort of like just different sins or things like that. We fought gambling, we fought, greed, we fought, gluttony, things like that. Just basic, just people in their vices.
yeah,
Right, right. It was like a realistic story set in like a cartoon 1950s time frame. So yeah, I agree. Either 9 or 10 for sure.
Yeah.
On the rating, it story was really really solid. I mean, it makes sense why it was one of the best games when it first came out.
Mhm.
Would it come out like 3 years ago? I forget when it's been out, but it's
2014,
been
I
out.
think, was the earliest. Yeah.
It's been a long time, man. 7 years. It feels like yesterday it just
Like, because I
released.
remember Cuphead being talked about a long time ago.
You about to look it up?
2017. Sorry, 2017
Okay,
is when
so
it
four
came out.
years.
Yeah,
So not
they
yeah, not
talked
too
it.
bad.
I think the developers were working on it long before
Yeah,
then, like three
yeah,
years
because it,
before
it
that.
premiered on
Yeah.
Microsoft stage, of course.
hmm But
I think it premiered at one of the E3s, but
hmm
but for sure, yeah. Miko, what would you give the story if you had to, from based off of your quick montage?
boss. Based off the little YouTube clips I was watching, it was pretty dope. Like I said, it's just practical, immersive, quest type of gameplay. Just trying to figure it out strategically and finding the niches and stuff like that for each scene and act as you guys were playing. It was fun to watch for sure. It was especially the video I was watching. It was this dude that was super spammy, A+ every time, just
Yeah.
damage type of stuff.
Yeah, you were watching like a master play the game.
Some guys played it quite a few times.
Yeah, somebody who could probably speedrun the game, beat it in like 3 hours, if that.
Straight zombie for sure.
But honestly, moving on to it, the gameplay and graphics, I thought, the gameplay was pretty seamless. If you're playing on a controller, all the controls were there perfect. I had no problem with the mappings. I liked how it played. If you were on keyboard, it was a little It was a little bit to wrap your head around. And I know you not being a keyboard player, not having a controller for your keyboard or for your computer, made it so that you had to be the keyboard player here.
Right. Yeah, I mean it was definitely a great game. Like the controls were easy to like kind of understand, but going like most of the time I played majority of my gaming career on a controller. So me transitioning to a keyboard, and this was like a interesting game to start my keyboard gaming with, because like it was just like a lot of like knowing where I had to move the controls too, because I didn't like using was it ZXCV. I was like, what game uses those buttons? Like most of them are all WASD, or at least in that.
But then the follow up though is those were your action buttons. So instead they had you moving with the arrow keys and action keys with the left buttons.
Right. So it was nice once I mapped the keys out. Like it became easier, and the more I played it, the better I got at it too. It was just like I had to get into a rhythm. It's a very rhythmic game.
And I agree with Tubi. It is a very rhythmic game, and to me, it seemed like a more simplistic version of a Toho style game, which is a big genre for many Asian gamers. Which is a bullet hell game. It meshed well the side scroller with the bullet hell gameplay style. Because now, instead of being able to just move any direction you want, you can move up and down, but gravity's going to pull you right back down when you're done.
Right, exactly.
So
overall, the controls are good. They weren't overwhelming. It wasn't like I had to like really try to learn like what each button truly did, because it was just like they were simple. It was simple controls. Just keep it as simple as that, honestly. But graphics too were, I thought, pretty damn good. Like it didn't look pixelated or anything. Like it looked like high def of the 1950s. Like that's to me what it
was a 1950s cartoon. The graphics were so crisp, clean. There's nothing that's like out of focus, and it can translate well to higher definitions.
The crazy part is everything in that game is hand drawn.
Yeah.
Like legitimately hand drawn, not with like computer stuff. Like it was like hand drawn on paper and apparently like translated into the game. And I was like,
there's scans, and then they touched them up on PC.
Have you guys?
That's artistic.
Have you guys faced any serious frustrations with any of the levels or anything like that?
Yeah.
Frustrations? No. It wasn't a big deal to me because I was just drinking. I was boozing it up and playing. I got drunk the one time and I was just like, go. We'd just keep dying, and I'm like, and as soon as we lost a life right at the beginning, I was just like, yep, restart.
No, I think one of the hardest ones was when that boss with the slot machine.
Yeah.
And when it would, every time it hit the slot machine, it would give us like a random attacks or whatever you had to like dodge.
And by the time you got to it, you're finally getting one under control. One of three, and they're like, and flop. Now you got the third one instead of the first one. You're like, and then you finally get that one. It's like, now let's try the second one instead. And
it was crazy. Like that was probably one of the hardest. Like honestly, one of the levels or bosses that I enjoyed was the flying one when we were in the ships.
And we still we beat it right at the very end. I was like, I only need one more playthrough, and I got it at the last time. But the game definitely is challenging, but it's not like making me want to punch a hole through my monitor. Dark Souls challenging.
Word.
Like I've had Dark Souls where I've had bosses where I just took the controller and I just said,
okay.
And I actually slammed the controller against the desk. And then I put it down and I quit.
I agree with Tubi here. It was just like you finally learned the pattern. Like I didn't realize it at first either. Like there used to be a pattern in a couple of them, and it's just like, oh, I learned a pattern, and then they switch it up out of nowhere. You're like, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, you had a pattern, and then the pattern's like, out the window.
Goddamn algorithms, man.
It definitely felt like it wasn't RNG. It was intentional. It's like, okay, it gave us it so many times, and it's like, now let's throw in some frustration and just change it. Because it was like we'd keep getting the one where like, all right, we're learning, we finally got it, we think we could get it, swap.
Yeah. And I just feel like the game was designed for that too.
Yeah.
It kind of like started to pick up like when like it knew when you were starting to figure it out. Like someone's like how I don't know how it knows, but like it was pretty good. But going back to like the gameplay and graphics, like the game was so challenging and so tough. Like most of the time, you were just like, "Fuck it, I'm done." Like no, it was like it was so good and so smooth and so easy to play,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked appealing. So it definitely kept me wanting to play it, even
Yeah.
though we only played through like the first world. Obviously, we'll go
I
back
think
and
we
finish
still
it.
put like 7 hours into the game over 3 days. So
Right.
we did get quite a bit of gameplay in, which was fun. And
Hmm.
even though we only got a third of the way through the game with 2 people, you know, it was still fun. And I definitely am gonna pick it back up and finish it, even
Yeah.
though it's very rage-inducing. It was so much fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's
But
unique. Is the other thing. It
right.
did something new for a genre because I don't think I have any other real side scrollers like that were those pattern recognitions that would change the
Pattern
pattern.
recognition, like like fast
Yeah,
tempo, like
like you have Mario and stuff like that, but it's always the same pattern. With this, it's like
yeah,
okay,
and it
you
never
learn a
would switch
pattern
up.
and then it switches it up. Yeah, because
Or
like when we were in the flying fight, one time you'd be fighting Bull, then you'd be fighting Arrow, and then you'd be fighting the Beam. So it was like it,
right, and then we thought the beam always went this way, and the next
and
you know
then
it was like, nope, we're
yeah,
going to go to the other way.
yeah, we get it down and we get comfy. We start moving the right way, and it's like nope, it actually goes this way too.
I feel like those games are good for mental exercise too.
Yeah.
Promoting mental health and stuff like that because just you're constantly predicting that counter. I fuck with
Hmm.
that.
You
Yeah.
always got to be ready though for
Yeah.
anything. You can realize patterns, but you always got to be ready. But I would personally rate like the gameplay and graphics combined as like a 9, solid. Like
I,
the game looked great, it played great, the controls were easy to learn. Like
I honestly
no
don't
complaints.
think there was anything more it could do. I would definitely give it. I would definitely give it a 10. Like for me, Cuphead would probably. I don't know. If I was playing alone, I don't know if it would be as fun. So maybe I'd give it a 9. But like as a two-person game, it's just it feels like a fun co-op game. I don't know if I'd
Yeah,
like playing it as
it,
much alone.
it's definitely a great couch co-op, even though we're using the software to override that because it's
Well,
not an online co-op game.
yeah, but we're still making a couch co-op game.
Right.
So,
Thankfully we you figured it out because that was a pain in the ass to set up too.
but it works. So
Right. And what about you, Meek? What would you your last rating slash thoughts on the graphics and gameplay look how it looks?
On Cuphead,
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, like you guys were saying, the artistry and stuff like that, the different scenes and whatnot.
mhm.
The different obstacles we have to go through. I thought it was really cool and like I said, immersive. Definitely would play it if I wasn't so freaking sweaty in Warzone.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Hopefully we can get you into some other games.
I'm super addicted to that game. It's really bad. I can't even imagine what I'm going to transition to at this point. I'm just fully drowning.
Yeah, and
You know,
it's only going to get crazy too with the new map. Hopefully that comes out
Yeah,
in about
shit.
a week.
Yeah, I'm excited for that for sure.
But let's move on to the next part here with the graphics and sound. Or I had graphics twice on here.
that's
Oops.
okay. But yeah, the
I meant to
graphics
put
and
mechanics
sounds though,
the
if we
top
want to
part.
talk about it,
Yeah,
the
we can talk
graphics
about the
and
sound real quick.
sound together, I think really meshed well. The
Hmm.
the the songs, the OST for the game is really good. The
Hmm.
soundtrack is really well underscoring the game itself. The sound effects are
Right,
there. It's all about sound cues and things like that.
right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like the ambience in the game it just felt right. Like
Hmm.
the game, the score was like it felt like it wasn't too much. It wasn't overwhelming. It didn't seem like it was out of place. Like the music itself felt like what the game was trying to do.
Hmm. Yeah, and I like how they had the old timey barbershop quartet style music and songs, which are really cool. So I think it really underscored itself well. I don't remember much songwriting, like actual soundtrack during the fights.
Hmm.
It seemed like it was I could only remember audio cues. Maybe I missed the
Yeah,
soundtrack because I was so focused on audio cues, but
yeah.
Uh,
That's what I mean. Like it was like so much in the background. Like if
yeah,
you weren't looking for it, you probably like you just
yeah.
don't realize it's there.
But
But like
I I don't think there
I
was
like the
much to
cartoon
say.
sounds. Like it's a cartoon looking
Yeah.
game, and like it had cartoon sounding.
Hmm.
Like when you hit things or when you're shooting stuff, like it legitimately looked like it or sound like it too.
Hmm. No, I
So yeah.
definitely agree. I'd give the sound honestly like an 8. I don't know. There's no memorable song yet from Cuphead. Maybe I haven't hit the right fight yet, because I
Right.
know that later in the game they talk about. I know there's better songs. Like the devil has his own song when you're fighting him and stuff. I believe, because I've
Hmm.
seen the videos on YouTube when I listen to other music, and it's like maybe I'm excited to see what we come across, because I feel
Right.
like the
Right.
game's ramping itself up as we go.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely introduce you to the game with the first third of the game,
Hmm.
and then the second and third probably just like takes it to the next level.
Hmm.
But yeah, I agree. The sound I would probably give like 8 or 9. Like I think overall this game's probably going to get a 9 for me.
Hmm.
I know I'm skipping ahead to the next part here, but
Well, no,
the
yeah.
overall
Overall,
overall this
I would
game.
definitely Cuphead's a 9. It's
Mhm.
not a 10, because I feel as though I wouldn't play it, alone by
By yourself,
myself.
yeah.
It's not the best game I've ever played. It's not my
Yeah,
favorite game, but it's an amazing game nonetheless, and I've enjoyed every moment playing it.
right. Yeah, I definitely agree. What about you, Meek?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't really play it. I saw it. I
Yeah,
Hmm.
looked into it a little bit, but definitely seems like something meditative that you can really just play for hours.
Hmm.
right. Especially when you're drinking and having fun and getting drunk
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
getting pissed off at the same
it's a
time.
nice party
And
game.
you get pissed off as you chug a beer. You're like, wait a minute, that's probably not a good idea.
You
But
start falling asleep and shit.
You
but
get blurred vision while you're trying to play the game. Like, why can't I do this right? Yeah, like your reflexes aren't there, buddy.
but
But
moving on. So
yeah, let's move
I
on to our gaming topic this week.
I know you're excited. So Vic, tell us about the new Pokemon announcements.
Yeah, man, I was excited. I don't know if I could be as excited as the TikTokers that I was watching,
Yeah.
like react to it. It seemed like they were like little kids, like screaming, like yelling on top of their lungs, and I was just like, yeah, that's crazy. But that's the excitement that I like because like they're remaking Diamond and Pearl, which I remember me and you had on the
Hmm.
DS back, and you had Pearl or
You had
Diamond,
Pearl.
I had
I had.
Pearl.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was like probably one of the last Pokemon games before I got um Let's Go Pikachu. Even before that, like I didn't play any games pretty much after
Yeah. For
after
me,
Diamond and Pearl.
you know, Diamond and Pearl were great games. I think they really underscored the end of what I thought was the pinnacle of Pokemon for me.
Hmm.
Other people would say Black and White. I played Black, or White. I played Pokemon White, and it was okay. Wasn't my
Hmm.
favorite game. I might start a fight here in chat saying that, but I thought it was all right at best. There were some
Isn't
okay.
that the game where they had to make like a second one because the first one didn't do good, like a
Yeah.
Black and White 2?
Yeah.
The only Pokemon game to get a sequel,
That's
basically.
not true. Sun and Moon. They also
Well,
got that.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
now. That was
Well,
after.
yeah, but Black and White went to X and Y, and we always had game one, game two, game three tied it together. Like
Yeah,
the combined story.
because it was Platinum during Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, which was about Palkia, or Dialga
Yeah.
or something.
No,
The
it's
the
the
Garantenia,
yeah, Giratina,
the
yeah.
Giratina, the dark shadow dragon. But like, yeah, I've always played one, then the third game. Like I
Hmm.
had I went from green leaf, like was it green or blue? Was
Are
in
you talking about the
U.S.
originals?
Yeah, I went
It
from
was
them
red and blue for us.
red and
We
blue.
didn't get
Yeah,
green
so I had blue. I went to yellow.
or yellow if you had yellow.
I blue and yellow, and then after blue and
Yeah,
yellow, I played. In
I
the
had
second,
silver,
you had silver, and I had
and it
gold.
was silver and
Silver,
crystal.
silver, gold,
Yeah, silver,
crystal.
gold, and crystal.
So I had
Yeah,
gold and then crystal. Then I bought sapphire, and then I bought. You always had the other game than me too.
yeah. We
Yeah,
we usually did it on
yeah.
purpose.
I had sapphire, and then I went emerald, and then like this game for me was kind of like the last Pokemon game I really genuinely played, and then I
It was 'cause
revisited.
after Ruby and Sapphire. It was Leaf Green
Yeah,
and Fire Red
and I
when they
played Leaf
remade
Green.
those ones.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. But
And then yeah, the
I'm
last one I really enjoyed or played was Diamond and Pearl
yeah.
before this recent
People.
because I never played Black and White, any of them. Never played
Mhm.
X and Y. Never played Sun and Moon. Never even played Sword and Shield. Like I've got
Yeah.
all these games that I've never
I've
played.
only skipped 2 generations, and it was Sword and Shield and X and Y. Jordan ended up playing Y, I believe, and so she enjoyed that game, but I never played it.
What about you, Meek? Did you ever play any of them?
Pokemon, nah, not really. Never really got into Pokemon. I was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh type of guy. I had
We were
mass
that. We played
cards,
Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yeah,
Endless time to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
it kind of kept me from the Pokemon experience. But nonetheless, like whenever when I was a kid, if it came on the TV or something like that, I would watch it
Oh,
for
the
sure.
anime is a different story, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But it's just yeah,
Ash
I
is
never
just the worst person ever, and so
yeah,
is Yugi.
yeah, I wasn't really never got Pokemon Go or anything like that. But yeah, like I said,
You never played Pokemon Go? You didn't jump on that bandwagon when that was there?
I didn't jump on that.
Oh,
It was fun to watch. Though. It was fun to watch the videos of
man,
everybody
that
walking
Pokemon Go
around
took over the world.
everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just-
I definitely gotta say, Pokemon was one of those games that did define our generation as like one of the gaming
I
series.
mean, look at it now.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's still there.
It's one of the biggest things in the world.
Yeah,
yeah,
it is. It is. It is a huge moneymaker and is one of the reasons Nintendo is, able to keep itself from sinking when they make bad decisions.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, because like speaking of Nintendo, they also showcased the new um Pokemon game. I forget what it's called. Legends of Zacharias. I think that's what it's called. I
Zacharias,
don't know.
yeah, Legends
Yeah,
of
I,
Zacharias. It's about,
yeah.
or it's Legends of Arceus. Sorry, or something.
Arceus, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
Arceus is the Arceus is the god of all Pokemon, essentially the progenitor of Pokemon, and so it's supposed
Mhm.
to be the legend of it, and it's about like feudal era Pokemon, which seems interesting to
Right.
me because people always joke and sort of talk about what Pokemon would look like or what Pokemon's like not in modern times because all Pokemon games are modern.
Right.
What does it look
Because
like,
this one takes place in the Sinnoh region, which is Pearl and Diamond
Yeah.
as well. But it's like
hmm
I don't know how many years before those games take
2000,
place.
like
But
2000 or something.
yeah,
So
so that'll be
it's
pretty
it's
interesting.
ancient Japan, which is going to
Yeah,
be
and
really cool.
what makes the game even like look even better is the fact that it's a open world like RPG
hmm Yeah, it's supposed
Pokemon
to be
game, and
like Sword and Shield, but with more open world. From what I saw, the
it's like
combat is like actually open world.
right, yeah. And I like how you can like walk up to the Pokemon in real life, kind of like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and actually throw the Pokeball at them like without going into battle.
hmm
Like that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
It's like
the
we're
one
finally
person like
getting the
jumped out of the
Pokemon
tall
games we
grass and they
wanted.
were just like,
Got him.
got him.
Gotcha.
But
But yeah, I'm looking forward to them. I'm getting back on the Pokemon train. I mean, you can see behind me, I'm starting to collect all the cards and stuff like that again. So
Mhm.
I can't believe I fell out of it. It was just like, oh, Pokemon, like I'm too old for this, and never mind. No, I'm not. But it's definitely pretty cool to see
yeah,
Pokemon
I'm
doing this.
excited, and they also discussed Pokemon Snap some more.
Yeah,
Which
Pokemon Snap looks good.
which I honestly really loved Pokemon Snap as a kid, and
Thanks,
and yeah,
Princess.
yeah, exactly. And Princess is right. If you enjoy it, it's cool. Like, play what you want to play. Like, I still fucking play World of Warcraft. I play with freaking miniatures. Who cares? You know?
Right. Yeah, Tubi, we'll get to that. We'll cover that here in a second when we get to the third topic. But another thing that was announced was Alien Fireteam, and they released the announcement trailer.
hmm
Miko, I'm going to you here first on that. What's your thoughts from that trailer?
Yeah, so yeah, I definitely watched the trailer and it seems really, really cool. I never really played Alien, I never really played the Alien aspect of video games. I always played Predator and stuff like that.
hmm
But I always read some reviews on the prior Alien games and whatnot. It seems like they do a pretty good job of
Right.
keeping it genuine Alien esque and stuff like that. Really immersing you in that world. But
Right.
I was always a big fan, and it seems like it's really, really cool, and really, co-op oriented and whatnot. And I
Oh
like
yeah, for
that.
sure.
Like I like tactical games like that for sure. So definitely something I see myself playing.
No, yeah, I definitely agree because this game kind of gives me the Left 4 Dead vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you start on one place and you're trying to get to the safe house and you're
Mhm.
trying to survive, obviously.
Yeah,
So
and
like
it's
a
such a
three-player
good
co-op.
genre. It's so
Yeah.
good.
For sure.
Like
I mean, it seems like this summer we're going to have like I think this comes out in the summer. I forget the release date, but because we also get Back for Blood this summer, which is Left 4 Dead 3 or whatever
Yeah.
4 whatever game it's supposed to be. And then we get Aliens, and they're like similar games basically. But hopefully this game performs better than Colonel Marines or whatever it was.
Mhm.
That game was awful. Isolation was not great, but it wasn't terrible. It was an average to good
Yeah.
game. It went back to the roots of being like a horror survival, like
Yeah.
let me navigate
yeah,
this
and
without.
this is by any means not going to be a horror survival.
Uh,
It's from what it looks
it
like.
seems like very hectic. Yeah,
It's not a horror survival. It's just straight up survival. It's a
Yeah.
straight up survival quest game,
This is
just like
survival.
playing not Valheim. Sorry, Warhammer. I can't even remember the name. They're coming out with the new Warhammer game, the Warhammer 40K.
Well, they're all new Warhammer 40K games coming out. There's like 3 of them.
What I mean is the survival ones where you're going against. You're a marine. You're a
I can't think of
Yeah,
it.
we've talked about it before, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's this genre of games where it's the 4-person squad just going through, and you're trying to survive on your quest through X to Z.
I
And
feel like
it's so good.
they can put a suspenseful like thriller vibe to it though, with like the lighting and stuff like that. You're going into a dark tunnel and you hearing them, crawling up the walls or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Being scared.
Yeah, that's going to be
No.
creepy. I'm sure that they'll do that. I'm pretty sure the trailer was just to showcase the
Mhm.
high intensity, like they get the
game-
adrenaline going.
Yeah,
But I'm
the
sure that they're
style
going
of
to have
gameplay.
those kind of elements of it.
You know what
It's
I'd
all
really
gonna be
like
about
to
the
see?
environment.
Warhammer did a really good version of this. Twitch integration would be cool again. Like these games, like Left 4 Dead used to have the versus mode where you're like, I'm gonna play the story, but I'll play it online. So instead of just
Yeah.
fighting normal computers, also players join your game. Well, instead of players, Twitch can literally vote on how to fuck the players in the game. In the Warhammer versions of these style of genre, there's one where it's like, do the players get a health boost or do we throw a Goliath enemy at them? And it's like, Goliath enemy.
Right. No, yeah,
So I'm
I'm
hoping
excited.
there's some sort
it
of.
seems like this genre is taking off again, because like even Call of Duty just added Outbreak to Cold War. It's like a
Zombies.
4-player zombie. Let me get from one end to the other and do these tasks on my way there and survive. And then
It's not
once
like a
I'm
big
out-
circle box kind of hide and
yeah,
survive.
it's like an open. It's more like an open world map that you can go and do different things and survive. And it really reminded me of like the Left 4 Dead look.
That's pretty dope.
No, that's awesome.
I love Left 4 Dead, yo. Just like that. All this talk about Left 4 Dead is just making me want to play it so bad.
It's like
I'm
free or
pretty sure we
whatever.
can on Xbox.
The Witch,
It's
the Crime. I used to play it late at night with my boys when I was like 12. Yo, not
Same.
12. I was like 15, 16. But like that Witch, the Witch is like.
You
Yeah,
like stumble on the witch and you're like, we can kill the witch, but somebody's gonna die.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Get knocked down.
Yeah, you had to cut your losses at that point for sure. Somebody was weak, yeah, you're
No,
Right.
it's definitely.
safe house.
But I'm definitely excited for this Alien game because I enjoy the Alien versus Predator universe. I always have enjoyed it and thought it's great.
I hope it. I don't know if they announced it yet, but I hope it has crossplay. That'd be awesome if it does.
And
So we
I
can-
feel like that's pretty much being like universalized and stuff like that in a lot of games and stuff, being
Mhm.
across.
Yeah, that's
If you
definitely
want to
in
be
the future.
competitive, if you want to
Yeah.
be a competitive game, you have to have cross-play anymore. It feels like
Yeah.
because otherwise people are just be like, nah, no thanks, I'll go play something else.
Especially if you think about it, a 3-player co-op game, you're going to need 2 other people to play with, and I don't want to say most, but a lot of people prefer to play with their friends. And what if their friends in like this instance, I can't play with you because you're on PC, and you're separating the community and separating like your own friend groups. And
Yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly. Because
But
It
not-
only makes sense to make games have crossplay now.
It's what it was built upon, though. That pick a team type of style. In gaming, it's kind of sad it started out that way, but it's just it was involved with business and making money. Somebody specifically has to make some money off of these things. So
Yeah.
it's like
Right.
it sucks.
I mean, I guess it kind of helped prevent like a monopoly, all but I mean, realistically, there's only 4 markets: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC. So,
Mm.
but yeah, I definitely
you forgot
hopefully-
mobile, Vic. It's such
Oh,
a
yeah.
competitive, great market. You
I
always
forgot
talk
about
about
mobile.
how much you love mobile.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
No,
fuck
mobile's
mobile.
cool though. It's alright.
No, mobile's pretty dope. It's just certain games that try to, make that transition. Like Call of Duty Mobile. I don't.
I can't play it.
I
You don't play shooter games on mobile.
yeah.
You play
I mean,
card games on
granted, you can
mobile.
hook up your. I can hook up my Xbox controller to my phone, so like that's cool. If I
I mean,
wanted to
one
do it
thing
that
I've
way.
seen Fortnite. I've seen some pretty sweaty people on Fortnite on mobile, but Call of Duty it just seems so just like this.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's just like it's clunky.
Yeah, clunky as
It's crazy.
hell.
I played PUBG Mobile and on my one like vacation trip when we were on like a cabin trip and we were all on like our phones and like tablets and we caught a dub playing PUBG and that was exciting. But it
Yeah, oh,
might have been like the last time I played it.
I remember you called a dub on your Switch on Fortnite. Remember
Yes,
that?
sir.
You
Yes,
played
sir. I was at work, joined an Xbox Live party on my phone, booted up Fortnite on my Switch, and joined up with y'all and we caught a dub and we were playing crossplay.
that was
So
super,
dope.
super tough. See,
And that was
crossplay.
so hard to play because I tethered my Switch to my phone for internet connection, and that is terrible.
Oh yeah, the Switch is not a wireless gaming multiplayer device. You got to have that thing plugged into the
Not bad.
fucking network.
It's my phone. Like the phone's Wi-Fi isn't that great. Like off a cellular service.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
That cellular sucks.
But
When 5G rolls around, kind of get powered by 5G.
yeah, as long as we don't burn up or anything.
Yeah. I was
Oh, man.
almost
Great,
throwing
great,
bombs or
great
something.
conspiracies. But let's move on to another topic here. We got we can group two things here with Sony because Tubi had a question. But Need for Speed has been delayed so that Criterion can help develop the new Battlefield 6, which is apparently just going to be like a next gen exclusive.
Mhm.
Meek, I know you're a big Call of Duty fan, but were you ever into Battlefield?
No, yeah, for sure, absolutely. I love Battlefield. It's such a clean game.
Mhm.
It's super more realistic in my eyes, for sure. The movements and the HP and whatnot. But I definitely I'm a Need for Speed guy too, man. Like that kind of hurts a little bit, but then again, I like the fact that they emphasize that they're taking time on the game. They won't mind taking the extra time because somebody else is coming out with a racing game apparently, so it might be bad, might go
Right.
bad.
Well,
for Need for Speed.
it doesn't help that EA just purchased Codemasters, so they have like 5 or 6 different racing games now.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
they don't have to put out a Need for Speed. Like
Yeah,
they're still going to make money from the racing games regardless.
Yeah.
it sucks. So I just for those Need for Speed call, I love Need for Speed for
Well,
sure.
Need for Speed lately has just been so up and down.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
some
So
games are
like,
like this is great, and other games been this is shit.
yeah, the latest one is kind of quirky, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I just like the aspect of building my
Which
car.
one was it where you can get out of the car and like escape the police and then get back in the car?
Oh, that was. I didn't know. I don't know about getting
I
out
forget
of
which car it
That's
was.
called
I think it
Grand
might have
Theft
been like
Auto.
the reboot
Yes.
GTA, but
The
no,
one.
there was a Need for Speed that you could do that, and that was like the first and I think only one that you could do it. I forget which one it was, but
I forget what
yeah,
it was.
Need for
Too.
Speed, I was a fan back in the PS2
Yeah, I
time,
was.
but
I was
after that, like,
underground. Undergrounds were dope, and then Most Wanted. I really
Most
fucked with.
Wanted,
Most
Yeah,
Wanted.
Most Wanted was
one of my
always good.
favorites.
Yeah,
Carbon was pretty good too during that time.
yeah. Carbon was right after. Yep.
Uh, there was a couple other ones too around that time. They were pretty good, but when they took that break, they needed that break because they hit like they hit a wall.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
their
for sure.
creativity just wasn't there, and it just wasn't fun anymore. And that was
Honestly,
also during the time when Forza was taking off.
and the thing is, they didn't need to reinvent the wheel every fucking time. Need for Speed, all they need to do is make a new map with a bunch of different racetracks on it and do the same fucking formula, and it would work.
Right.
Exactly. Or just make it like even more elaborate with the modifications of the car.
Yeah.
I mean, that could probably lose potential interest from fans and stuff like that aren't really knowledgeable about cars in that
And
way.
it
But
doesn't. Yeah, like
If you wanna see
even
that
Most
close
Wanted
race,
had some great customizations.
yeah, for sure.
right. I miss playing Underground too and going to the body shops and
Yeah, hell yeah.
customizing your car, tinting your windows, and just
Mhm.
making them look dope. Like it was a lot of fun.
Oh, the storm. The soundtrack was immaculate.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, Snoop Dogg, name it.
No, I
But
definitely.
I definitely fuck with Battlefield. Though I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, they need to put some love into it because if they flop a Battlefield game,
Again,
Yeah.
they're never going to be able to catch
Battlefield
back up.
5 last year or 2 years ago was a big flop.
Yeah,
Big
like
flop.
Battlefield 1 did okay, but like Battlefield 5 was horrible. And like the
Yeah.
last Battlefield I remember was like Bad Company, and I think 4 I played a little bit.
Yeah, Battlefield 4 was fun, and 3 was fun. Bad Company 2 was a lot of fun. Even Hardline was fun for what it was. Like, it was a different take on the
Hmm.
Battlefield games,
Yeah.
being like cops and robbers. So like that was fun to play. But I mean, I'm glad they're taking the time because like if Battlefield 6 is an next gen exclusive, like it seems like this is going to be a very big game. Like the games were already big with the maps and
Hmm.
stuff like that, but and because they do the destruction capabilities and whatnot. So like what how else could they better this is what I'm eager to see.
Hmm.
Just
Hopefully we see something
just a
soon because
thicker,
this game's
more
supposed to
filled
come
map.
out this year.
Yeah. No, it definitely could be a really great game. Actually really flush out more of these maps, make them really big, and have a lot of players. And it can definitely. What's great about Battlefield is it's a Battlefield style game, not an arena style game. You
Right.
have a huge forum to play in with a huge number of people, as opposed to a close niche of like 30 or less players running around in an area only a little bit bigger than the land my house is on.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But yeah.
Uh,
Any last thoughts on that? Because I definitely skipped a topic here on the list.
Oh no, you good?
no, it's all good.
But
But yeah, let's move on to Sony. Sony discontinued their movie and TV purchases, which
Mm.
duh.
basically like nobody
Makes
really cares.
sense. Makes sense.
Why
Yeah.
why pay for the license to resell these things
when
when
it's
Netflix has
already
existed forever?
Yeah, but
exactly.
if you ever want to
It's
purchase or rent movies or whatever, like your first thing is not to think about the consoles marketplace. Like you always think of like iTunes or Movies Everywhere or Vudu, like all these other movie
exactly.
platforms that you already have your entire collection on.
Yep.
Exactly. It's just yeah,
So
no, it seems like it's it was just standard call by
And
them.
not only that, they
Seeing
have
the
these
world
apps on their
change.
device.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
If you're gonna
it makes
shell
sense.
out the other retailers on your device, there's no point in selling your own.
If anything, I like that they're doing that because they're kind of incentivizing those streaming services because it could encourage more people to get those consoles to be able to use those streaming services. So it's just
Hmm.
like it kind of at the end of the day, the market kind of still funnels into the same place.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. It just seems like it was the next phase in the movie industry. Like Blockbuster had to go, and then
Exactly. Yeah.
Redbox or whatever what
Well,
Netflix before they became a streaming service, you had to get 2 DVDs in the
Yeah.
mail or whatever, and then now we're
Yeah, so
streaming services.
certain things you only could get something sent in the mail. Yeah, for sure. I
well,
remember
still,
those
certain
days.
things can only come in the mail from Netflix. And yes,
Yeah,
Netflix still does mail.
yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy to think
Yeah.
that they do that.
insane.
Like, there has to be the old people that
Uh,
still do that.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Is
personally.
Redbox still a thing? You guys ever
Yeah,
see any red boxes
all the
around yet?
time. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
all over the 7-Elevens in Turkey Hills.
Wow,
I just feel like I'd rather rent the
that's
movie
impressive.
from a streaming platform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but the only reason I would get a Redbox is because the streaming platforms don't always have it,
No,
and
right.
why
Yeah,
pay 20
those
bucks to get a
gems.
movie?
Yeah, those
Right.
gems. I feel you for sure. Because it's not even that the streaming platforms don't have it. They charge like $15 to watch it because I guess it's like probably like
Hmm.
a rarity.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like I looked up an older movie on Amazon Prime the other day. Forget which one it was, but I just remember seeing the price and it's just like, damn, y'all are smart because y'all know I really want to see this movie again.
And you're the only one who has it.
Yeah, exactly. It fucked. It's so fucked.
Yeah, I
Man,
try to watch old stuff all the time.
face.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. But something else with Sony here, because Tubi brought it up, how they just announced their games with gold for PlayStation or PlayStation Plus or games for
Hmm.
the month, and they're releasing the Final Fantasy VII to that. But like, they just had their state of play, right? And they announced that if you owned the game, you get the next gen upgrade for free. But now they're giving everybody the game for free. But if you get the game that way, you don't get the next gen upgrade for free. So it was just like they did all this like terribly.
Yeah.
It's a
They didn't make
multi-level
it.
marketing scheme is what it is here.
Yeah. So now if you want the next gen upgrade, like that means you have to buy the game that you already own for free. Like it's just going to be like what?
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're just trying to figure out a way to, make some money again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
as
They
opposed to what Microsoft is
make
doing.
it too easy for us.
Because look what Microsoft has: smart delivery.
Yeah.
You buy the game once and you get it on whatever platform you want to play it on. Like you want to play on PC, play on PC. You want to play on Xbox One, you play on Xbox One. You play on Series X, you get the Series X version. Like you get it all for free.
Mhm.
Like Xbox made it easy, consumer friendly, and PlayStation's like, fuck you, we don't care. Give me your money.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I've always felt like PlayStation is the Apple of the gaming world. They're like, we're exclusive. We'll charge you all this exorbitant money, and everyone else is like on the Android of the gaming world. And then Microsoft's just like, we make it easy. We're open source. Here's all the stuff.
But I was
Yeah.
gonna say what's interesting. I saw a PS5 also released a media remote. Did you see that?
Mhm.
Like a kind of like a Fire Stick remote type of thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Xbox has that. They've had that for a long time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but no, PlayStation finally getting on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, like PlayStation for a while there was
some catching up, always catching up.
yeah.
And then even though you can always connect your phone to your Xbox at any given moment, but
Yeah.
you got to go buy a controller for PlayStation.
Yeah, and like the PlayStation, they've always tried to make it a media center, where an Xbox was like, we made it that to begin with.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you
Well,
could always,
remember their whole spiel with the Xbox One. That's why they named it that, because they wanted it to be the all-in-one
Mhm.
entertainment system, and that backfired on them like pretty heavily. Like that's why like they
Yeah.
struggled in the first 2 to 3 years.
Mhm. It was a rough launch.
Yeah, I'm glad they turned it around because now it's everything
great
that they have
gaming
done now.
console.
It's like to me the best console to go with. If you're going to go with a console,
It's
it's one of the best ones.
economical, and you're always going to get your money's worth.
for sure.
Right,
Yes.
especially with Game Pass. Like Game Pass alone, like PlayStation has yet to come out with anything, and I'm sure that they're working on like a Game Pass thing to fight it because all they have is PlayStation Plus games of the month, but that Xbox has that as well. Games with Gold, you still get that in Game Pass. Like for the same price, you're getting way more with
Mhm.
Xbox
I
as
agree.
opposed to PlayStation.
I
But
do.
yeah, man, we'll see
But-
how that goes. One more gaming topic before we move on to our world news. This one's pretty big because we've been talking about Fall Guys. I think the last 2 episodes. Their creators, Mediatonic, was purchased by Epic Games. Roger, what's your thoughts on this?
I think this is this is Unreal and Epic's way of trying to get back, like trying to really make themselves known in the market a little bit more. They're trying to grab stuff that's influential, because they're big into trying to grab some of these new PC game releases, so that
You do know who they own, right?
huh?
You do know they own the biggest game in the world.
Oh, what? Epic Games, or
Yeah.
What do they own?
Fortnite.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I think they also
Oh, yeah,
own
yeah.
Rocket League.
Yeah, no, definitely. What I meant by getting into the gaming world is the PC gaming world. They're trying to beat Steam. Steam
Yeah.
is the mountain they're trying to surmount, and they're throwing money into this churning just drill to try and
they have
break
their
apart
Epic Games
Steam.
launcher or whatever.
Well,
yeah.
you get free games every month. You don't have to buy anything. You just log into your Unreal Engine on your PC or your Epic Game Store, and you get a free game every month.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I got
That's
GTA
really
5
cool.
that way. I've gotten, Borderlands. I've gotten Civilization. Like, you get so many big name games
Yeah,
free.
Tubi says it's every week you get a free game.
every week. Sorry. Yeah.
That's
Like,
crazy.
it's once a month they give you a big gem.
So
and every
basically,
week's-
more or less four games a month, just like what Xbox and PlayStation does.
But these are like, big games a lot of the time. Whereas Xbox
Yeah,
is sometimes like,
PlayStation's been doing that too with like big games. Xbox has been like hit or miss every month, but they
Yeah.
have Game Pass, so it's like you get all these free games anyway.
Exactly. But it's definitely, I think it's their way of just trying to get these big games that it means something in the community, so that people
Mhm.
start using their launcher more and more, because they're trying to budge their way into Steam's market here.
Right.
There's only one way to buy games on PC right now. If you're going to buy a game, you get a Steam key. That's
Right.
what people
Yeah,
do.
I agree.
And nobody goes, "Oh, great. It's on Unreal. Let me go grab it off the Epic Games Store." No, people are like, "Yo, just buy it off Steam."
Right.
You
Yeah,
guys do
Steam's
know
one of the biggest distributors or whatever you want platforms
Mhm.
on PC by far, like in the gaming industry. It would call like because like it's in the rumor mill like right now that Microsoft wants to purchase whoever owns Steam. I
Valve.
forget who owns them.
Valve.
So they want to purchase that, but it would cost them like at least $10 billion, if
Oh
not
yeah,
more. It would cost
Valve is
way
lit.
more than what they did for Bethesda.
Valve is huge, and if
Valve,
they
yes.
bought Valve, yeah. So if they buy Valve, not only that, we could also see some games like, Half-Life 3, for example. One of the
Right,
one of the unicorns of the gaming world there.
right. One of the most requested games that we may or may not ever get.
Yeah, well, we got Half-Life Alex, so that was, that was a
And
game.
that was a pretty solid game
Oh
too.
yeah, it
So,
came through, and it was all VR too. It was a solid VR
mhm,
game.
right. What's your thoughts on this, Meek?
I definitely see that. I don't really play Fortnite anymore, and I'm not really too big on Fall Guys either. I did look into it though. It seems like a pretty addictive game. But it just seems like Epic's trying to do, engine swap, trying to get things rolling in a higher gear. But I didn't know about that, competition with Steam. I wasn't really familiar with Steam, but it makes a lot of sense now because yeah, as you can see, they're just trying to up their forces, up their assets.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely about owning the market. Just like it's you have things like it's Xbox versus PS4, but in the gaming world, it is
Steam
Steam
versus
versus
everybody else.
Epic. Yeah, Steam versus the world.
Yeah,
Who
Right.
because
Yeah,
you can
because
get your
Steam is
games from
just
anywhere.
huge. Yeah.
Before Steam, because
okay,
the idea behind Steam is it's all it is DRM, is digital rights media, so that you can't torrent the games. Because people you'd get a CD and then you'd burn it and give it to all your friends on a torrent. The
right,
idea is
Right.
to lock that game down so that you have to have an account to be able to open the game. And that's what Steam
Right.
does, is put the game behind a paywall for somebody so that, they can secure their DRM.
right,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, personally, I'm excited for this because, like, as of right, I want to get back into Fall Guys once it gets on the Xbox,
Hmm.
um, because this will be pretty cool. Because Fall Guys right now doesn't have like a private lobby or any of that kind of stuff. So, but I'm pretty sure Epic Games could implement something like that. Because they did it to Fortnite, they did it to Rocket League. Like, you can go into your private matches and, like, imagine being able to create your own levels in Fall Guys. Like, how much
Well,
fun
not
that
even just
probably is.
making your own levels, just being able to run your own show, essentially. Just
Right. Yeah.
bringing a
Yeah.
bunch
That's
of
you can
people that
have
are
your
your.
own
Because you
tournaments.
can only play with 4 friends right now, I think it is. But being
Yeah,
able
I
to
forget
say,
how much.
like, open a lobby of 20 people, now Twitch streamers are like, okay, come join my Twitchathon. And everyone just jumps into a Fall Guys lobby, and it's the last man standing in a Fall Guys lobby.
Right,
You
yeah.
know?
So I mean, that the way I look at it that way, I think it's exciting because I think
Mm-hmm.
that could give that game even more energy and hype behind it because it's riding a wave. It's not going up, it's not going down, or whatever. It's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
now about to be on more platforms, it's only going to get more popular again.
Mm-hmm.
More streamers, more players. Like it's just going to be a lot of fun.
No, I agree.
So that'll be interesting to see. Any other last thoughts on the gaming news of the week?
Not really. There was some stuff that happened this week, but nothing major really, other than the Pokemon news.
Yeah, there was some more stuff, but we didn't really have enough time to get into that.
Yeah.
But let's get into the world news because a lot of interesting stuff happened in the last week or so. I think we should recap real quick on the snowstorm. We'll touch on that real quick. Because Miko, you kind of had a little bit of an experience. So how did that go for you?
that shit was insane. But yeah, it was definitely an experience worthwhile, unprecedented, but nonetheless learned a lot from it. First couple of days were great. You know what I'm saying? We're in Houston. I mean, the weather wasn't the greatest. I wasn't really expecting it to be, but then again, I wasn't expecting it to be 12 degrees either. So it's, but yeah, I mean, we're in luxury apartments. It was like kind of skyrise around the 15th floor in the city, uptown Houston. And as it started getting colder and colder, we're like, okay, it's getting a little crazy. Roads started to get a little slick. And the Sunday going into the Monday of that week, waking up that morning, uh, there was a waterfall going over our balcony. It was from the unit upstairs. And so apparently, because at luxury apartments,
Yeah.
there's some units are pretty vacant for the most part because rich people don't like to be at the same spot for a long period of time.
Hmm.
So it's just like, yeah, that shit was going over the balcony. And then I thought, we should be fine. It's not our unit, yada, yada. But it was starting to seep into the wall of the balcony on our wall. There's a wet spot started to accrue. And we were like, oh, fuck. okay, let's call somebody. So we called down to the front desk, and yeah, they were like, yeah, we've been getting a whole bunch of reports. We don't know what's going on. We'll send somebody up. It was just some assistant guy, just a part of, not even a part of the actual property. He was just some dude with the management service that, you know, ran the little reception area. And he was just like on the phone, oh yeah, I don't know where it's coming from. And
Yeah.
I was just, my girl looked at me, she was just like, okay, I'm gonna start packing. And I was like, yeah, you do that. You do that. And as time went on, the carpet started to get soaked and shit like that. And the property owner, manager, the Airbnb dude that connected me with the place came over and stuff like that. He actually ended up telling me that because he had a condo right across the street, there was a group of condominiums right across the street from the apartments. And mind you, we had power the entire time. He said he hasn't had power for like 2 to 3 days coming into our apartment. And I was just like, wow, you know, he has a family and stuff like that. And we're literally right across the street. So when we started to get an idea of like how they were power sharing, and, you know, it seemed like they had control of the grids, you know, they had control of who could they, you know, send power to or not. It's just a matter of, you know, selective. They were very selective, you know, higher ups, government wasn't doing anything. The state, they weren't prepared.
Well, it's all private. That's the thing. It's privatized. That's the problem. They're gonna give it to the people who accidentally left their bill on to allow it.
Yeah.
Some dude got charged $13,000 or whatever, and it was It was directly out of account. They didn't send him a bill. It was direct deposit out of it.
Insane.
Yeah,
I'm so thankful my cousin was there because, you know, they didn't have power either, but his girlfriend, her aunt had a photography studio in northern Texas, in Porter, Texas. It was like 45 minutes away from where we originally were staying. It was like this photography studio we were staying in. It didn't have a shower or anything like that, but it had Wi-Fi and power, so we were pretty cool. But safety, you know, started to become like an eggshell. Like we were like, yo, like if we lose power here, we're pretty much fucked. Or if our flights kept getting rescheduled and stuff like that. And it's just, yeah, it was crazy. Traffic lights were out for 2 to 3 days. It was just like, you know, everybody was just every man for themselves. Every light was like a stoplight. You just stop, go. Stop.
It became a stop sign at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the highways are crazy. You know, 6-lane highways with huge sheets of ice just covered. And like there's, you know, a little bit before everything went down, they were still open. And so if you were driving on it, you would come up a slope and not realize you're hitting that patch. And, you know, everybody in Texas doesn't know how to fucking drive on ice. So it's just like, it was insane. It was insane.
No, it definitely is crazy. And, you know, what really pisses me off is like, it was all privatized, and, you know, people died.
Yes,
and
exactly. Yes.
Where's the news about these people who are supposed to be held accountable? You know, they're safe because we're hidden behind this business.
Going to Cancun.
You know? Not even that. That's a whole different story altogether. I'm just referring to the private companies who, you know, profiteer off the people suffering.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's screwed up, man.
Yeah, and especially, like, I agree with Tubi here in chat, you know, Cancun cruise. It's insane, you know, and he, you know, lies about his flight trip and everything, and then somebody leaks it, and the airline company's like, oh shit, we've got to fix this. But I'm like, it's already out there. Fucking Cruise is like, you know, he was ditching the place, and he's like, I don't fucking care.
Can't save that. Yeah, it's unreal. Yeah, it's like the hazards I was getting on my phone was unreal too. It was like 4 like Amber Alert type of warnings on your phone. It was water hazards, wind chill, ice, like freezing temperatures, everything you could think of.
And people aren't prepared for it either. And like it would have all been fine if the government didn't privatize their electric system, because they would have had to follow standards that were lax because they privatized it.
Even it's just like plowing and salting. Like just a lot of the problems that they had was because the help that they needed couldn't get there. And it's just like you could just clear the roads. And on top of that, there's a lot of plumbers going on news reports and stuff like that being interviewed because, you know, they're fixing all of these catastrophes and whatnot. They're just like, these properties weren't built correctly. They weren't built at all to withstand that. Like, there's no insulation, no anything. You know,
because I mean, realistically, they don't need to be, because this happens like once every 20 years.
Yeah,
for
I was gonna
30.
say the rarity is insane, but it's just like with how long we've been talking about global warming and how long we've been preparing for this, it just goes to show
And
who's really listening. You
and
know what
it's
I'm
not even
saying?
just global warming; it's climate change. Period. Because we
Yeah,
don't want to
right,
call it global
right,
warming. We had
right,
a
right.
snowstorm in Texas.
Yeah,
That's
no,
not
it's
warm.
global. Not global warming.
Yeah,
It's just it's the intensification of tropical storms and whatnot, and all types of
climate
natural
swings.
disasters. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
it's
I
It's
mean,
it's
better. It's a better
look at
term.
the
Climate
earthquake
change
that
is a
just
better
hit
term.
today.
we've got a lot lower lows and a lot higher highs is going to be
Yeah,
the issue, and
for sure.
people don't want to take into account. And like in the end of it, you know, right wing media, for example, they were quick to point fingers and just blame wind power for the lack of power, and I was like,
Okay.
that's not true. Places like northern Germany, it's cold, really fucking cold up there in the ocean, across the over the freaking ocean. They have wind power like crazy. Doesn't freeze up there because they follow standards to weatherize this stuff. And these companies are like, hey, why pay thousands of dollars to weatherize our equipment for a once in a 20-year disaster when we can
Yeah.
just let people die instead?
Yeah, it's crazy what Tubi said. He said when you fuck up your bills and shit, they get to keep your children, but when they fuck up, they get to go to Cancun.
Exactly. That's the thing.
That's the crazy part.
It's crazy. Yeah.
File for bankruptcy.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
crazy
just
that
stepped down from the board, get to keep all my money, and I'm rich for life, so it doesn't matter. And there's no repercussions because the company will get in trouble, not me.
right. Yeah, someone got to be held accountable. Like, hopefully this taught somebody a lesson. But I
But
mean,
yeah, hey, it's the American dream, but it shows you how accessible it is, or how
yeah,
not accessible it is.
How
right.
not
Uh,
even accessibility is not an issue, just how, you know, how we as the people who don't get to control anything, our lives are expendable. We are merely a number, and that's an issue to me.
Yeah.
so Meek, how long was your flights delayed for? Like how many days or
So
hours?
we originally planned to be there from the 12th through the 15th. We ended up coming back on the 21st
Jeez.
or 22nd,
Okay.
22nd, I believe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Did
Wait, no. I lied. The 19th, 18th or 19th. I'm tripping. That's when I went back to work around the 22nd. I
okay.
think we came back to 18th.
Okay.
So the places that you were staying at, did you have to pay anything to stay there, or how was that kind of working? Like, how did
Uh,
it cost
the
anything more out of your pocket
No,
because of
so
it?
the photography studio, no, that was a friend of the family type of thing. That's why I said I'm so thankful I was there with my cousin. But the rental, that ended up running up a check there a little bit, But I got it extended. They were pretty, cool about everything because it was a natural disaster. It was unprecedented. So,
Yeah.
and actually the Airbnb, because when our flight originally got rescheduled, we thought we were just going to stay an extra 2 days. So I asked for that from my Airbnb manager. Mind you, he has no power in his own house. He says, "Yeah, you can stay free of charge. I understand the circumstances. You're fine." And it's just
Wow.
insane. He's an awesome Samaritan. I still have his number. Like I was checking in on him, sending him like like FEMA stuff to get insured for his losses or damages or whatever. And it's just like I was planning to do a giveaway, and I had to. I didn't feel right, giving to somebody out here, and there's people dying out in Houston. I just came from that. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up investing that into getting food, anything that they need down there. It's insane. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty. They've got it together. It's been some time since it happened, but during the fact, it's people can't get those loved ones back for sure.
No.
It's just like,
So
geez,
Yeah, it's
life
definitely
is,
sad that this had to happen on top of the pandemic because I know that probably didn't make anything easier. Even though Texas doesn't give a fuck,
Mm.
clearly after raising the no mask.
well,
Yeah, they follow right up with that. It's insane the audacity of these motherfuckers. They're
well, that's
blatantly doing that shit to the public. It's insane.
it's a political agenda, just like they're this
Depop.
this week there's like 60 across like 20 states, 60 new bills to suppress voting rights again.
Yeah, it's insane.
So,
Man, oh
But
man.
and you know what?
it-
People on the same flip side of the coin, I hate to be this kind of person, but people vote these people into power, so you reap what you sow. So if you vote for a Republican and they give you that, I can't also in good conscience say you didn't, you chose this life. I live in PA, I vote, and if my politician I didn't vote for does something wrong, I have the right to complain, and I feel bad. But if somebody votes for a Republican and they do one thing, and it's like, you voted for that person. That's the one you wanted in power, and they got your will done.
Exactly.
So,
Well said.
But any last thoughts on the snowstorm and all that kind of jazz?
That shit was crazy.
yeah,
I bet.
no, it definitely.
Even watching from afar, it was
Well,
rough to see that
shit,
kind of stuff.
like,
And,
we're
all the
still
videos
dealing.
and stuff.
It's like, even here, we just had, we're having huge winds that are like 30 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour wind. It just ripped a giant a transformer off one of the power lines down the road from me. Huge explosion. You could hear like 5 blocks away. When like supernova, and whole like 5 blocks lost power the other day. It's
warped.
Yeah, storms. It's pretty crazy spring, early spring, late winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But let's move on to the next one here. We got a soldier was indicted for conspiring with neo-Nazi group. So Roger, go ahead and explain what happened here.
So there was a soldier who. So we know right now, as of right now, that a lot of there's quite a few number of our armed men and women in service right now that are actually far right winged, maybe Proud Boy supporters, neo-Nazi supporters. Well, this soldier got caught conspiring with a neo-Nazi group in the United States, got indicted, and then turned around and claimed that the court that indicted him wasn't segregated, like wasn't desegregated enough, and it wasn't diverse enough. It was just a bunch of white guys. And he was like, there wasn't enough blacks and Hispanics on that court. It wasn't a valid test of a jury of my peers. But at the same time, the soldiers in military court, they play by their own rules. Military court still has executions. Like, they're pretty quick to, you die.
Yeah, real shit. Yeah,
so like the guy tried to be a neo-Nazi and got caught, and then said, "Oh, you guys are being racist to me." And it's like, whoa, dude.
This is like, what? He's reaching on that one. He's really trying to do whatever he can to defend him.
Yeah, he's just trying to save his ass. And it's kind of one of these right-wing tactics lately. It's like, I'll be racist until it hurts me. Then I'll play the race card. And it's like, whoa. Chill out there, buds.
Yeah, it's just like the whole Blue Lives Matter thing.
Yeah, Blue Lives Matter until, the blue live is breaking down your door at 12 a.m. and then fuck that guy.
Yeah,
fuck the police.
Exactly.
It's like, no, this shit's... If you like the... you live your life one way, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's just like the fact that they have to, take that and actually process that appeal. Like, it
could get thrown out.
Yeah,
it could get thrown out. It's like
I was reading it. I saw you guys put an itinerary. I looked at it. I was like, okay, this seems interesting. And I read that. I thought I was in like a parallel universe.
You're like, it seems like a comedy routine. It seems like a comedy sketch to me. It's just like something you'd see on SNL kind of thing. It's like, wait, whoa. All right, let's see how this one plays out.
What is going on
This
here?
motherfucker thinks he's going to do this?
It's one of them where you just look and
It's honestly just the crazy world that we live in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It seems like it's only getting worse, too, because look at our next topic here with the Mr. Potato Head and the Dr. Seuss thing. Like,
and it's like...
what's your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I am both... I understand from one side and I understand from the other. So the people who own Dr. Seuss decided that some of the comments within the Dr. Seuss books were a little racist, and it's like,
there's understandable,
like, talking about, like, they in one of the stories they talk about Asian countries and they call them places with names you cannot pronounce, and it's like
Oriental.
It's like, I get why they would want to take these comments out, and like, I have nothing wrong with it. And if you own the books, we're not coming to take your books and burn them.
Right.
Oh shit.
And
those books are going for hundreds of
it's just one of the things, you can't fully just toss it aside. It's just you take it from the shelf and you just put it over there.
Well, no, and the thing is, they're just not going to publish it anymore, and
Yeah,
that's their choice. It's their book.
yeah,
You
for
as a
sure.
consumer, especially the right-wing media, can, stick a dick in it and shut the fuck up because
Yeah,
they're a private business and they can do what they want.
yeah, right.
And
Right.
But
and
nah,
and
definitely, the origins for sure.
yeah,
It definitely just like how it transcends to Walt Disney, what he was doing and stuff like that.
yeah,
What you mentioned earlier.
like Dr. Seuss is definitely wasn't a great guy.
Yeah,
A lot of these influential people of years and years ago
Yeah.
were very off color, and by today's standards, it's very offensive.
mhm,
We're trying to
Right.
become a globalized world, and we're looking at these hard right white male guys writing these stories and stuff. Yeah, they're great. And like Walt Disney, he actually invested in Nazis in Nazi Germany and Nazi gold.
but I mean, would
Like,
you say since Dr. Seuss published those books and those
yeah,
controversial books, would you say that would go into his normal like publishes or normal books that don't have any slander per se? Would you think that would like put an ill sense upon like his work in general, or
no, no.
you think
It's
it's
just
good?
I think it goes to show that the company managing the Dr. Seuss line is saying, "Hey, we don't like the things that these books say, but Dr. Seuss still wrote many good books.
Yeah,
One
okay,
fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. That
man,
book still exists. There's nothing
man,
wrong with this book. It's just there are, we talk about Horton Hears a Who, or all these different stories that teach you these crucial lessons. And Dr. Seuss
Or
was
How
a
the
great
Grinch
author,
Stole Christmas.
yeah,
Was that his, right? Or
huh?
no? My tripping was How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That was his, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
We
That was
have
a
these
great,
we have
great
these
moral
important.
and ethics thing
There's
that they
nothing
taught
wrong
there.
with How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
right,
This isn't getting canceled. What's getting canceled are books that are like these more obscure Dr. Seuss books that not many people read. You have
Right.
your core Dr. Seuss that gets turned into movies
sure,
and things like that, and then you have these other ones like The Things You'll
Yeah,
Find in a
those
Zoo.
books that there stopped publications on. I don't even think I've ever read them. I
Yeah,
never even heard
I've
some
read
of these.
I've read two of them, and I own two of them. I think I still have them upstairs in my bedroom.
Yeah, well, then
You know,
hold on to them because they might be worth fucking
I don't
millions
even
here
care
soon.
about that. It's just the
Yeah,
sentimental value because I read them as a kid, and I would still read them to my kid. But I would impose upon my kid the understanding that what may seem like racist, you don't want to. It's not the best way to approach that subject. But then there are other stories there that are perfectly fine stories, and
right.
it's not cancel culture. What it is it's trying to be more sympathetic to our fellow man.
Right.
Why try to make fun of another culture or another name, or it only breeds hate and bigotry. you know because it leaves a sense of stigma against certain cultures or people, and I think that's what they're trying to help. They're trying to
Yeah.
be a kids book, and millennials are the ones having kids right now, and millennials are
Right.
more thoughtful and caring towards their
Yeah.
fellow man. We're less greedy, we're more sympathetic to others. It's
No, yeah, I definitely agree.
we're not just saying we're Christians, so we're gonna do good because we're Christians. No, we're doing good. Whether we're like millennials are the least religious people out there, and they're still doing good just as much, if not more, than Christians sometimes. And
Right.
it's
Yeah, I agree.
we're just trying to be more sympathetic, I think, and it's not about cancel culture, which a lot of people are putting on it.
Yeah, because I definitely agree with that because um like with these books being canceled and stuff like
Hmm.
that, like there's still publications that were there, like where we don't want to. It's great to see that that because China, like, put it out there, Chinese people, Chinese Americans at least, are going through hell
Oh fuck!
because of the whole
Somebody
blaming the
just got
virus
shot
on them and
today.
stuff like that.
Somebody got
Like,
shot today.
yeah, yeah, that's insane.
And-
And then even like as not as little, but Jeremy Lin, he's an NBA basketball player, and he said he gets called on the court like coronavirus, like
Mhm.
he's getting harassed for something like he didn't do. Like
Yeah.
that's basically like that's being racist. Like
Mhm.
to be honest, and like honest, who do we
Not
really have to
not
blame
on.
about
It
this?
is
It's Trump,
straight up. That is the definition of racism.
right? And Trump did not help this by calling it the China virus and stuff
No.
like that, and making it seem like it's okay to say that kind of stuff when it's not.
Yeah, and I think that's what the conversation we're trying to lend ourselves to here. Like there is a line where we're being too overly sensitive and we don't want to say anything.
Mhm.
But at the other side, there's a line where you say, yeah, this comment was meant not in a joke, but in a mean-spirited joke. There's a difference between making a
It came
joke
from
and making fun.
ignorance. Yeah,
Yeah,
it came from ignorance.
yeah, it comes from these 1950s, 1940s style thinking where people from Asia, like Chinese Americans, for example. Do you know how they got their citizenship? They were one of the only races in America who actually had a law prohibiting them from owning land, getting married, and
Wow.
having a citizenship in America. We like they built the American Railroad on their blood, sweat, and tears, and they weren't given citizenship. We've always been very racist towards the East, and it just goes to show how closed-minded people are. And I think with these books, trying like one of the things is making fun of people who are Asian and making fun of Asian countries, and it's you know
Mhm.
to for example, Tubi is one of our viewers. He's from Asia, and why should we make fun of people like Tubi, who's a great guy? That's the thing. We're trying to breed less ignorance towards people, and I think uh, Fox culture is just being like this right wing culture is just being overly. Uh, it's cancel culture. We want to ride this wave and just pick a
Yeah.
fight. It's like
They just keep finding things to try and
yeah,
cancel and get rid of. Like
they
looking at
don't they don't own the IP. It's not their decision. If somebody wants
right,
to cancel the book, grow up. Don't buy Dr. Seuss books if you're upset that they canceled 5 books.
right, exactly. And then another thing here was the whole Mr. Potato Head thing, like trying to make him gender neutral, but like it's a freaking potato,
Yeah,
and it's
if
been in culture since
yeah,
like
who
forever. Like
and if they want to change it to Potato Head, who cares? Now maybe it'll contain parts for male and female.
I don't
It's
think they're changing it now. Like I think they're
yeah,
not changing anything, but it's still like in talks, of course. But like,
yeah.
do they forget that there is a Mister and a Mrs. Potato Head? Like
Now
they
they're
would have
one.
to
Now they're one
change.
toy.
Right.
What's the
So
problem with
I
that?
guess like if they're gonna just change it, like they're obviously don't just change one. They got to change both. And if they're gonna do that,
And
they're
they
gonna
are.
have to make it where, like you said,
I mean, I think they should have made something new. I grew up off of Mr. Potato Head, like just stripping that. Not like you say, it's not that super big of a deal, but why not make something new? Why strip something?
Well,
It
that's the thing.
already is what it is.
Well, now it's
yeah,
Potato Head.
you can make a gender neutral potato head if you want, but there's still a Mister Potato Head
Yeah, that's
regardless.
fine. Your toy is still Mr. Potato Head. It's all new
Right.
ones are going to be Potato Head. Who fucking
Yeah,
cares? If
yeah.
you're overly sensitive and you're crying about the Mr. Potato Head, when like I'm sorry that you're hurt, but like that's the same way people treat these people who are sympathetic to gender issues. You know,
Mhm.
if you're gonna cry about it, go cry about it. It's your
No,
problem, not mine.
I think it all depends on if
Yeah.
Mr. Potato Head wanted to be gender neutral or not.
Well, Mr. Potato
I don't
Head's a
think he
fucking
had a say
toy.
in this. I don't think he had a say in this.
Yeah, and he's a toy too, so
Yeah.
so I don't think he has an opinion. So that's the thing, and the company who makes it is deciding this. It's
Yeah.
it's a free economy. Don't buy the toy if you don't like it.
Right. Yeah. If it offends you, don't buy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If it
Like
offends
at
you,
least
then
there's not just Mr. Potato Head. At least they came out with Mrs. Potato Head. Like
yeah,
it could have
there
just
was
been a
one for
guy
both.
thing.
And now at this point, you've got and we were already swapping toy parts on Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. I can guarantee you, everyone here who's had one of both has put Mrs. Potato Head's hat on Mr. Potato Head and swapped body parts, took his mustache off. Who cares?
That's
If it's
right.
Potato Head now, it's not cancel culture. It's
Yeah,
we're trying to be sensitive to a new audience.
true.
And it's a free market economy. We're a capitalist economy. If you don't like it, go cry about it.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Speaking of the economy, this is a good segue here.
That's exactly how they did Texas, it seems like.
yeah, it's exactly what happened.
Right. But last topic here is the stimulus package update. This should be very interesting. It looks like obviously they got to take out the minimum wage thing because they, I guess, legally can't put that in the bill or
No,
whatever.
they can. It's just they're not going to allow it to get passed without it. Is from my understanding.
Well, it seems
Because
like they got to take it out. Like for it
yeah,
to pass through, they got to take it out,
yeah,
and it has to
to
be
get
its
people to
own
agree.
separate thing.
Yeah,
Like it has to be its own bill. It
Yeah.
can't be grouped in with it, which makes sense. Like, why are we grouping minimum wage with this? Because minimum
It's
wage has already been an issue
no,
before the
but
pandemic.
the thing is, it's an economic reform bill.
Yeah.
Look at what the Republicans published in 2017. That bill where
Mhm.
they literally at 4 a.m. are scribbling notes into the margins of a bill. Yeah, what we're doing now is pandering to the right crybaby little pussies. That's all it is. We're pandering to
Yeah.
the right now. We want Biden. Biden has just been a giant pussy lately, and he's been like, let's make friends, and I'm like,
At least,
why,
I mean,
you
I
know,
give them the benefit of the
let's
doubt, like trying to work together and like try to compromise and like
last time I
take
checked,
both
we didn't
sides.
try to get along with Nazis. Why are we doing it now?
Right.
I'm just saying, these people are literally letting Americans die, and they're getting shamed into actually having to do their job. Cancun cruise. Yeah,
Right. Right.
it's
Yeah, it's definitely been very interesting. I do
yeah,
hope that they pass this package because there are people who are struggling and
yeah,
just relying on this, especially with the unemployment benefits or even just the checks, because
yeah.
there's people who don't really have any money
Well,
and they're struggling.
like the big thing is, millennials make up 30% of the working force. We make up less than 5% of the political power. So
Yeah,
we
that's already a
are
problem.
we are we are the least amount, we are the generation with the least amount of housing percentage. Like new homeowners are lower than any other generation. We're not
We
buying
live with
diamonds, and
our
that pisses off boomers. They're like, why aren't millennials buying diamonds? It's because we don't have fucking money. Millennials are starved. Our economic costs have gone like this, and our wage increases have gone like this.
parents.
You know,
Right.
a
Yeah, it's definitely a
wage
problem.
per debt has grown for our generation, and we can't control it. We're just told to shut up and deal with it. But our parents, they had the easy life, comparatively speaking, with money to debt. You know, if they didn't make dumb choices with their money, like your mom smoking away her money, or my parents, my dad, partying away his. It's if you didn't do stupid things with your money, you could be successful working a $10 an hour, $5 an hour job, because
Right. Used to be
you
able
know,
to, but now we live in a day and age where that just it isn't sufficient enough.
yeah,
Like, I think realistically, you should be able to live off a minimum wage. That's just my personal
yeah,
preference.
minimum
Like, you
wage
should
can't
literally be able.
cover rent for the average rent cost in the United States. That includes all 50 states. The average rent costs more than minimum wage.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, they need to index the minimum wage to the
Hmm.
cost of living. So
Yeah.
as that goes up, that goes up. Like, they both go up at the same
Hmm.
time. Like,
So
it only makes sense.
yeah.
But
So
did you see that the fourth stimulus package is also being talked about already, where they're
I
going to try and make like monthly payments to us, like of like
I think
I
this
don't know.
whole thing's goofy. I think at this point, this next one is all we're gonna need, because we should be able to reach a vaccine for every adult in May, by the end of May,
Yeah, I saw that. That's good.
because we're ahead of production, because Biden actually grew some fucking balls and did his job like he said he was going to do, whereas Trump literally just had the laissez-faire open free market and watched as people died. Biden's
Yeah.
like, hey, I know this isn't your company, but make the fucking Pfizer vaccine. They'll give you the thing, you put it together and just sell it. And they were
Right.
like, well,
Yeah.
we're going to make our own vaccine. He's like, no, just make their fucking vaccine. It already works. Stop
Right.
reinventing the wheel. Get it out here. And they're like, okay. So now we
Well,
have, more
at least they
production.
got two options, I guess,
Mm.
because you got the one where you have to get two shots, and then you got
Yeah,
Johnson and
but that's the
Johnson's
thing.
single
The
shot.
Johnson and Johnson's new vaccine is now being also produced by their biggest competitor, because they gave them the recipe, because Biden got them to play nice. Otherwise, we wouldn't have double the vaccine production of that.
Right.
That's why
Yeah.
we're
I
on
agree.
track for May now. We
Hmm.
pushed up the timetable, which is awesome. And so once that happens, our economy should be able to heal, I think, once we deal with the minimum wage, and this next
Hmm.
stimulus package will help push people through. I think, and I really like where we stand here with the minimum wage pack, because I think the big issue we're dealing with here is, if you're making $150,000 a year between you and your spouse, and
You don't
you're
need help.
underwater, then you probably did something wrong. Because me and
Right.
Jordan, we make $90,000 a year. I pay over half my wages a month to student loans and
Hmm.
taxes, and I still have enough for a mortgage and disposable income for plastic minis.
No,
Okay,
exactly.
at some point you have to say, what are you doing wrong?
Right. Some people just start to live above their means. They're like, oh man, I have all this money now. I can go do this. I can go do that. And then next you know, you're fucking head deep in
Yes,
water, and then you're drowning.
Victor. Yeah, I know you're a big proponent of the credit card problem, right?
No,
That's the American way. That's the
yeah,
American way. It's the credit card problem.
yeah. When I first got a credit card, I was very irresponsible and just maxed it out. But
I remember you
now I
told me.
managed it and built my credit up,
There you
and
go. But
it's
like
at
that's the thing.
what I
Most
need to do.
Americans don't. How much do you have in savings right now? Do you have a 1 month's worth of wages in savings?
Mm-mm.
Nobody does. Most
Right, yeah,
Americans
most
don't,
people
and
don't.
half
Yeah, it's
half
crazy.
millennials can't do it because college is too expensive, and we're told you got to go to college, you got to go to college. So we get cornholed into going to college, or we eat a dead end job, and then afterwards you're like, you need 4 years experience for an entry level job, and it's like, how do I get an entry level job if I need experience that I can't get without getting an entry level job? No, the
Right.
economy is beating down these people, but I think if we can get this next stimulus out, get the vaccine by May, uh, by June,
Yeah,
I believe
summertime
we're
is
supposed to
pretty
get
good.
herd immunity between May and June. Then, once we get herd immunity, people can get back to work in full force,
Hmm.
and our economy can go back to normal. And then hopefully we can see the minimum wage. Like, for example, you heard about the Amazon unionization this week.
I think I'm just
Amazon is spending literally like $300,000 a day to try and squash, unionization, something the United States is built off of. You know,
right. Yeah,
they're
it feels like
literally
Amazon's struggling right
it's
now.
slave labor, sweatshop work. They
Yeah.
use and abuse and then make up reasons to fire people so that they can't move up. It is the opposite of the American dream. And we're looking at an economy that beats down our working class. So I think the issue is not to deal with more
Rich, man.
handing out free
You know
money.
that.
You know, I hate the Democrats handing out free money, but the Republicans also want to do it as well, but they do it to the top, not the bottom.
Right.
The issue is not to
Right.
hand out free money, it's to hand out programs that help entitle people.
Right. What's your thoughts, Meek? Haven't heard your voice in a little while here.
No, it's all. I'm listening. I'm
Yeah.
learning just as much as the audience is. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. Just feeding off you guys.
But yeah, and in all
Right.
seriousness, do you need the stimulus check? Do you guys actually need the stimulus check? Or
I
is it
mean,
just going to be disposable income?
I'll
Yeah, I
never.
mean,
I'll never really
would I want it?
to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like,
Do I
not
need it?
getting, if you don't get the stimulus check, are you going to be hurting?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, I'm going to be using it towards getting my own place when I move. So like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a benefit to help me.
Which is a valid thing. Like for me, for example, like for a lot of us, we're gonna. I know a lot of people who are gonna not put the stimulus check to necessities. Like me, for example, I don't need the stimulus check. But the thing is, to find these people, and we're leaving free money on the table, as Meek said. I'm not gonna leave free money on the table. If somebody else is entitled to that money, so am I,
Right.
because I make just as much as somebody else does sometimes. But
Yeah.
for a lot of us,
Yeah, just because I wouldn't be in the best position doesn't mean I can't come from it. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. That's
I worked hard to get here, so yeah.
yeah.
Take that.
And I would take I worked hard too to get where I'm at, and I would take free money too. But I think handing out the money is what's going to get us in more trouble, because we need to zero out our balance one of these days here soon. And then build more programs versus, more tax cuts. Because money doesn't trickle down, as I've said before. The only thing that trickles down is the people on top peeing on us.
Right. Yeah. It is definitely crazy. Like, something needs to change. Something. Maybe this adjustment with the minimum wage will trickle, but my only worry is that it's going to cause like a serious, really bad inflation.
I don't think inflation's the issue. I think what's going to happen is it's going to cause artificial inflation. Companies are going to actually be the ones who ruin the economy again, because they're going to go, oh no,
Be put in a corner.
oh no, we can't grow 5% this year. We can only grow 4. We got to fire people.
We gotta get rid of people.
We got to fire people. That corner
Yeah,
office isn't going to pay for itself.
I'm just glad that they have the smarts to like slowly raise it over years, as opposed to going 7, 25, 15. Like most businesses would probably shutter.
It's just
Especially mom and pop
Yeah.
shops.
Like,
yeah.
and
plus,
that's the thing.
it's just every state's different with like cost of living and whatnot. So it's just like you don't want to just slap a 15 number on the whole fucking entire country. It's like,
And
Right.
the
You
follow up
figure
is
every job is going to get a pay raise then. No matter how much you're getting paid, every job's going to get a pay raise.
no, not every, because we have to watch out for people like service industry people
yeah,
who get tips.
exactly.
Well, no, well that's the thing because I don't know if you saw in this bill of changing
Uh-huh.
the thing, they're phasing out tip workers. Like you
Ah,
will no longer make money off of tips. You'll get paid $15 an
I
hour now.
like that. That's a European style strategy that works.
Yeah, and I like it.
To tip somebody is insulting in Europe.
Right. I forget where it came from. There's like a whole backstory with tipping. Like it's really derogatory
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
tipping.
it's like it's. I mean, yeah. If you really think about it, it's like it's like disrespectful. It seems disrespectful. Like
Yeah.
It's like because they barely get paid an hour,
yeah,
whatever it is,
so you're just
$2.
throwing them some money just because they brought you food or whatnot.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, oh,
It's
here's
like,
5
like,
bringing me
like,
food and
sure,
running
It's
around.
yeah. It's
right?
it's essentially
It's just like, thank you, sir.
may I
Thank
have
you.
some more? No, yeah. I I agree. The minimum wage is going to be a big part here. We need to see the revitalization of the working class, because that's the thing. The Republicans, like at their CPAC last week, were like, we're the party of the working class, the people with calluses on their hand. We're not just the country club lovers. And they're like, they blatantly admitted that they're like, we are the party of the country club, but we care about you, working class, too. But we got to plug that country club life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see over this next year to see how everything pans out
and you know
once we
what?
start and stuff like that. Because basically every industry, every part of the economy is hurting right now, no matter
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, and I'm with Spooky Crew here. There is no compromise. It's $15 minimum wage. Cry about it, Republicans, but we're in power. We get to make the decisions just like you did for 4 years. You went batshit crazy and did whatever the fuck you literally passed bills without even taking them to vote, to discussion. They literally went from writing it to scrawling in notes to passing it.
Yeah, it was
So,
crazy. So yeah, it's time to make some real changes here.
yeah,
But
no, I think
any other last comments or remarks before we close out the episode of the week?
I'm all good here.
Cool.
No.
Nothing from you, Roger.
no, I've had my say long enough.
Yeah, that's all good.
Good talk.
But,
Good talk.
What's up?
Said good talk.
Oh yeah, yeah for sure. No, it was good. Roger's full of knowledge, man. Like it's
Well, the thing is, I just care to watch the discussion of things that are going on. I follow less about video game news and just sort of wait to see it pop on Reddit, but I actually genuinely follow news. Like I
Yeah.
watch it every morning. So
right.
Absolutely.
I'm the opposite. I don't really follow news unless, like, occasionally I see it, like big stuff. But unless you put it in the chat or whatever, I'm the game news guy.
yeah, and that makes perfect sense. Cause like for me, for example, like when you're going through game news, I'm like, yeah, I kind of saw it. I watched the trailer. I don't know much about it. I can't name producers of games like you do, where you're just like, yeah, it's this guy, and I'm like, okay, cool. But like for news, yeah, I spend the first hour and a half of my day just listening to news.
Right. Yeah. You listen to news, watch news. I listen to podcasts and watch YouTube videos and all kinds of stuff. So I'm like,
And with the community that I'm a part of, like for example, I play WoW, and there is such a varied community there. I have people who are, the age of my parents I'm playing with people the age of my parents to, people who are 20 years old, 15 years old, There's people who are like hard right people, versus I've come to people who are like, I play,
right?
I play with a transgender person, and you meet these people and you hear their experiences, and I think that's something that we're missing in this country, is this universal experience, because everyone runs a different life, but right now the ruling class doesn't understand, the troubles that people go through. Like, look at technology, for example, from some of these the ruling class, if you will. They can't even tell the difference between Twitter and Facebook.
Right. Yeah. It's awful when the older people in like the government starts talking about technology or internet and stuff like that. They have no idea how any of that stuff works.
They're not hip, as you would say.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But enough news for the week. Want to thank all the live viewers that joined us today and all the future viewers on YouTube for checking us out. We do live stream these every Thursday at 7 p.m. So come check us out, engage, talk with us, conversate, opinions, anything. Um, but Miko, man, where can we find you at?
Y'all can find me on pretty much Facebook, Instagram. I'm on a lot. I'm always posting funny shit, not just gaming, but just shit in general on Instagram. Meek Sweat at Meek Sweat, one word. You can find me on Facebook with that username as well. Yeah, Xbox Meek Sweat. Hey. And yeah, my personal too, Miko Jenkins 717 on Instagram, and just Miko Jenkins in general. Anywhere else, man, I'm all around.
All over. That's awesome. What about
Right.
you, Roger?
You can find me on Discord, lunatic_oblivion, and you can find me on Twitch at lunatic_oblivion with an A.
Yes, sir. I want to start off by asking everyone to check out my talk show that we have on our YouTube channel as well, where I bring people on to talk about all kind of topics. So those are usually Fridays at 7 p.m. So be on the lookout for that. If not, check it out on our YouTube channel. But I'm in the midst of getting these game reviews up, so be on the lookout for that. But if you want to hit me up, follow me or anything like that, Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _, Xbox at X Never Space Chillin. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. If you have any questions, concerns, you want to come on the show, be a special guest, or anything like that, or check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Mr. Never Chillin. Want to watch me game or do my talk show? Come check me out. But other than that, thanks again, and until next time, peace.
See you guys.